Wind's howling. Oh, hey. Wait, is this? I think it is. This is a variety show with no particular niche, baby. It's always about hanging out. Maybe we'll laugh at some stuff, maybe we'll learn something new, but it's always about hanging out, me and you. Welcome to That Thing with James. I'm your host, James, and this is the first episode of the year 2023. Yay! Hurrah, la 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 la. This episode, I originally intended this episode to come out a week earlier than it will be coming out. See, I am recording this, on Sunday, January 15th of the year 2023. And as usual, this episode will come out the following Friday, whatever number date that is. However, so it's Sunday, January 15th. What's 15 minus 7? Whatever that number is, that's the number day of January 2023 that I originally intended to record this very episode. However, I chose the better part of valor, meaning I chose to not do it because it would not have gone very well at all. Reason being, I had COVID / probably still have it. I don't know. I'm still waiting for my new batch of tests to come in. I used the last COVID test I had, home test, to test myself. I guess I tested myself like on the 4th or 5th or something of January. And I tested positive for the first time. After how long has it been? 2, 3 years? How long has this been going on? How long will it continue? But I had gone that whole time not once catching COVID. I'd always gotten the shots, the boosters. I mask up still when I go out, especially if I'm going to a Walmart. I always I double mask. I put on a condom and a hazmat suit anytime I go to Walmart, just because it's Walmart. Come on, man. What do you expect from that place? I mean, how must it feel to cause people to feel that way if you're the owner of that corporation? It must feel fucking great because you're rolling in bank. Regardless, I caught COVID. I'm getting over it now. It's been 11 days now. It's been 11 days since the symptoms kicked in really hard. And I'm still feeling a little funky. My voice is a little weird. I might cough. I might lose my voice at some point during this episode. And the weirdest part of it all is occasionally, and it's eased up, but this is very much, I'd read before that it's like a neurological kind of a thing. It's a neurological virus, which is why a lot of people lost their sense of smell and dealt with brain fog. So at first I thought I was just getting like a sinus illness thing. It didn't quite feel like a sinus infection, but my sinuses were feeling a little stuffy. And for a few days prior to that, I'd been getting like weird kind of like I'd not been sleeping. There was like a stretch of 4 or 5 days where I was waking up at 4:30 a.m. on the dot for a string of days, all back to back to back. Wake up 4:30 a.m. on the fucking dot, which was bizarre to me. And I was also just getting these weird body sensations that I don't know that I would necessarily describe it as growing pangs, but it was not dissimilar. it was kind of like restless leg syndrome. Well, I did have very restless legs, no matter how much I stretched or, worked the muscles and all this. And, I soak and Epsom salts and all this. I was still getting these weird, just sort of discomfort in my body and getting restless leg and some odd kind of anxiety. It was like, I don't know how else to describe it than how I all just have. But then I started getting the sinus sensation. And I was like, oh, well, there's crazy temperature fluctuations and wind, which there's crazy wind right now. So you might hear the wind howling in the background at some point. But I started feeling yucky. And I wake up one morning and it's like, I woke up with like a fever, a small fever. And it went away after a while, but I was like, oh, fuck. It felt kind of like hay fever or cedar fever, because I got hit more with cedar fever when I lived in Austin, Texas. And it felt kind of like that, but without the itchy feeling. But everything else, like the weird feverish kind of feeling and all this other stuff, I was like, maybe this is just allergy, fever, sickness of some type. So I was like, I went on with my day, but I stayed home. I stayed home just in case. And then the following day, I woke up again, 4:30 a.m. on the dot. Every single muscle in my body, although thankfully I didn't get like a foot cramp or a calf cramp, because those are literally the worst. No jinx, but I would rather get a hand cramp than a foot cramp. Those are just fucking miserable. But I woke up 4:30 a.m. on the dot. Every single muscle in my body was firing, and I was just shaking and tremoring uncontrollably. I woke up my partner. I woke up my dog, who sleeps in a kennel near the foot of the bed. I woke everyone up because I was shaking so fucking hard, and I started coughing and everything, and that shaking continued for I don't know how long, maybe 20 minutes. I made Emily grab me some Advil, and I went to the bathroom, did what I could to warm up, and that's when I was like, okay, maybe it's fucking time. So, I took the test. I swabbed deep into my nostrils, and I put the swab into the liquid thing, and then I mixed up the liquid thing, the doubles as like a dropper. I put the dropper on the little test panel, the 3 drops. I made sure it soaked it really well, but not too much. And as I saw the cardboard that tests for the presence of SARS, blah, 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 whatever the fuck, the medical technical name of COVID is, as I saw the darkening moisture spread throughout that cardboard inside that little plastic panel, the positive line lit up or just filled in solid right off the bat. It did not take 15 minutes. Just as the liquid passed over, solid, positive. And then it went to the control thing and that filled in. And I was like, well, maybe the positive line will fade away. So I waited 15 minutes. Nah, man, I tested very fucking positive. And then I had Emily test herself. She was negative somehow. Thankfully, because someone needed to get us food and stuff like that. But I tested positive, and I put in a new order, because you can order like 4 more tests, home tests for free right now. That got renewed like at the start of the year or something. So I'm waiting on those to arrive. If they don't come soon, I guess I'll get someone to get a test from a drugstore for me. But yeah, I tested positive 11 days ago from now, which now being January 15th. And it was rough. It has been rough. And my sense of smell got weird. It got weird. How do I describe it? I know how I described it. It was like I kept smelling carcinogens. Now, it wasn't like stroke, smelling burnt toast. It wasn't like that. It's just sometimes if you get like a weird stick of incense, it's like a unique scent you've never smelled before. Sometimes those unique ones will just all kind of smell the same, kind of like a cross between like a stale cigarette smoke / campfire smoke smell. And that's the kind of smell I was getting from like everything. It was just like in my nose, right? And I would test it out. I love coffee. I love coffee. And I will get decent beans, ground up beans because, I went through the door some years ago and I can't go back. It's ruined for me. Just like Italian food is like, I'd been to Italy many years ago and all over Tuscany. And that ruined Italian food for me because I had good Italian food in Italy. When I came back to the States, when you go to like a quote unquote good Italian restaurant, and I know, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about Olive Garden. I'm talking about the more expensive shit. More often than not, it's like, it's okay. It's decent, but it's not legit. Except there was an Italian place, I'm sure it's still open, on South Congress in Austin, where my old dear friend Max worked for a long time. That place was the only other place I've eaten outside of Italy that got it right. It was the right everything. Like they got the pasta and everything correct. It's legit, authentic Italian food. Now, of course, I haven't gone to, Italy or Philly or Italy, New York or Philly or anything. I'm sure there's other Italian food everywhere else. But in my experience, I have not had the opportunity to go out on a fancy Italian restaurant tour of the States. How'd I get off on that tangent? Where was I going? Yes. Ruined. COVID ruined coffee smell for me thus far. So I've spoken about this before on this podcast, that my sense of smell is very powerful, very keen, and I would describe it as one of my superpowers, that I have an extremely keen sense of smell, right? And I revel in it. I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things is, for example, before I set up the coffee maker to brew a pot of coffee, I will stick my nose into the ground up coffee beans and take a big old whiff because it's so refreshing. And even if you're doing a smell test, that's actually a palate cleanser. Like water, when you're doing a wine taste test, you will swish water first to cleanse your palate. Well, the nasal palate, the way to cleanse that is with coffee. If you're smelling different stuff, even they will do that for wine as well. If you're smelling different wines, some of those floating molecules, they may linger in your nose, and the way to cleanse your nasal palate is take a big old whiff of coffee beans, coffee grounds, okay? And that's one of my favorite things to do. As I'm setting up, before I scoop the grounds into the basket, I'll take a big old whiff, and it feels so good. It interacts, plays inside my head like a symphony. My nipples are getting hard just thinking about it, man. But now, when I take a whiff of coffee, a whiff of the coffee grounds, before I was just smelling carcinogens, just burnt smell, like a weird smoke smell. there was no coffee at all. And even now, that carcinogen smell has faded. It was coming back a little bit, but it's faded over the days. So I'm no longer just smelling like carcinogens, but I also can't really smell the coffee. I take a big whiff and I smell something like I know it should be there. And I do smell something. I just don't yet have the words to describe it because I haven't really sat down and, taken 30 minutes to sit and, write a fucking analysis of what exactly I'm smelling. But it's not all of the coffee. Maybe I'm smelling one note of the coffee, but I'm not getting the whole story. I'm not getting the symphony. I'm not getting the harmony. And I want that back. I want my sense of smell back. My sister said that she lost her sense of smell like completely when she had COVID, but that it returned 4 or 5 months after she got sick. I certainly hope that my sense of smell fully recovers before then. But the weird thing, that's what really tells me, verifies the stuff that I've heard, the stuff that I've read, that and also the mental fog. See, I didn't get that at first. I had the fevers and all this other stuff. I was like, this is just like a bizarre, non-itchy case, a version, sensation like of cedar fever. But then I started getting really spacey. And the way I described the spacey feeling was, it's like when you are adjusting to some new SSRIs, be it if you're moving to a new drug, or more accurately to, sort of describe this sensation, was more like when you've not been on SSRIs before or haven't been on them for a long time and it's all out of your system, adjusting onto SSRIs. That's how it felt, just like a weird kind of spacey thing. Fortunately, there was no like brain zaps. And if you've been on brain pills, you know what I'm talking about. The brain zaps, there were no brain zaps, thank goodness. But I did get the weird spaciness. It's just fucking bizarre. Like I would lay down in bed because I would need a nap because I was getting winded really easily. I would lay in the bed and maybe not fall asleep and feel like, what's it been, like 5 minutes? I've just been trying to do some like breathing exercises to chill out. What's it been, 5 minutes? I gotta check my timer. I set my timer for 30 minutes. Oh, fuck no, it's not been 5, it's been 25 minutes. Just like that, like just totally fucking spaced out. It was weird. And so certainly I was not driving around. But then as the stuff started to fade over the days, I think I had 3 or 4 days of like waking up with weird fever feeling. But then after that, that stopped, but the spaciness remained and coughing and all this stuff. And like I was getting, easily fatigued. But then all of these symptoms kind of slowly are still starting to fade. I'm not 100% better yet, aside from even the sense of smell. Like late in the day, around the time for dinner, I will still start getting spacey. It comes in waves. And I thought, what the fuck is this? Well, my sister said that too. That you think you're better, but then it comes back. And that just keeps happening. Now, the frequency of the weird symptomatic waves, they will spread out. They will become less frequent. But it does. It comes in waves, like a trip. Like, oh, am I peaking? No, I'm coming back. Oh, I'm peaking? No, I'm coming back. This is definitely, it's not the fucking flu, as some particular family members have insisted to me time and time again prior to me getting this illness. This is like a couple years ago. I've had certain family members insist, oh, it's just the flu. Oh, it's just another type of the flu. No, motherfucker, this is some weird brain shit. The flu does not make you space out. It does not fuck with your sense of smell. Like, this is neurological shit, man. And I really hope that this is not going to be like a long-term thing. I really hope this isn't long COVID. And I wouldn't be surprised if what I got was this new variant XBB 1.2, 1.5, whatever it's called. It's a new Omicron variant that spread throughout December of last year, 2022. Wow. I really did not expect to go this whole fucking episode, and I'm surprised my voice has lasted this long. Well, I guess I warmed up the pipes. I did not expect to go this long talking about my COVID experience, but hey, here we are. So that's why I didn't do an episode last week, but I'm doing one now because I'm healed enough to be able to manage this for now. And I'm still going to do a bonus episode too. I actually have some other shit besides COVID that I really want to talk about. Fun stuff. I'm so glad it's 2023. Now, if you will excuse me for just a moment, I need to go cough really bad. So I'll be right back. And I'm back. Now, before I get any further and before I forget, I will be doing a bonus episode. I will be recording that right after I finish this episode recording. And the bonus episode will come out on the same day this comes out. So this is Friday, whatever. When this comes out, the bonus episode's going to be out as well. The first bonus episode of 2023. You can access that and all the other bonus episodes I've recorded and released at my Patreon. You can help support the show, help support the work, and the other stuff I've been doing too, the comedy shorts, After the Tone, Minor Tensions, which I had a troll get on my Minor Tensions comments recently, and that's one of the things I'll be talking about because I kind of had a little bit of fun. This is a weird fucking troll that popped on my videos on TikTok recently. But I'll talk about that in the bonus episode and a bit more about maybe what I hope to do this year. Not what I hope to do. What I'm gonna do. Let's say that. What am I gonna do this year? But yeah, patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Help support the show and get access to all the bonus episodes and other random shit I may or may not put on there. Once again, that's patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. You will find a link to it in the episode description. I mentioned TikTok. I'm on there. I've been just exclusively posting, well, almost exclusively posting comedy shorts that are available on my YouTube channel as well. But my TikTok account is at TTWJ Productions. That's short for That Thing with James. At TTWJ Productions on TikTok. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. My handle on both of those is at James J. Asher. I have a subreddit devoted to this show, r/thatthingwithjames. I have a show email. I would love to hear nice things from you and just ideas, stuff you'd like me to cover or questions you'd love for me to answer here on the show. The show email is thatthingwithjames@gmail.com. And once again, you can get bonus episodes and help support this work at patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. All that stuff is written in the episode description, so you don't have to worry about getting a pen and a pencil or a chisel and a slate. Okay, now, 2023. Something about this year feels auspicious to me. It's felt like that for several months, perhaps for the last 5 or 6 months of 2022. I felt like this year, that year being 2022, is just kind of, I almost said to throwaway year, but no, it was working out some other shit. It was cleaning house internally, inside me, so to speak. It was cleaning house, setting the stage, and making room for 2023. That's just my intuition. My intuition was saying 2023 is going to be the first good year you've had in several years. Excuse me. That's just how I've felt for the past several months, was that this year, 23, is going to be a good one. I have no proof as to why. I have no anxious analysis. Just it's what my intuition said. And also, it has been telling me something like March. Something about March of 2023 is particularly auspicious. I don't know why. And I'm not fucking questioning why. And I'm not writing in my little journal saying, oh, I want this, I want that. Because clearly I had been doing that for years, sometimes some months more intensely than others, and it never really seemed to do much. I've even talked about that, as a sort of similar kind of a analogy or examples for this show, writing down, outlining, planning, all this stuff. And it never really worked out. And honestly, it kind of worked out worse because I would end up feeling burnt out and just not having fun with this show. And I do this shit just because I want to have fun. Just because, I don't know, I'm just compelled to do it. And I don't know if you like this or not. I don't know. What's the point of any of this shit? This is a completely unstructured thing. And when I try to force structure on it, it never really worked out that well. So I'm about to repeat myself, but yeah. So I'm just treating this year like, I have my objectives. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And any detail beyond that, any KPIs, any particular, development goals or anything like that, I'm not setting my heart on it too much because that has never worked out too well for me. I just kind of, there are people who need that. There are people where specifics work out fantastic for them. There are people where if they do not have specifics, things will just fall apart and blow up in their face. I, however, find, for me, just subjective, singular subjective, I need to not have a specific plan, not have a specific goal, because when I do try to make specifics, they don't work out. They just kind of blow up in my face. Whereas if I just kind of say, okay, I'm just going to go west. I'm going to, generally meander west. Maybe, I'll just go west because that's where my gut's telling me to start walking. And then I'll wind up somewhere better than I could have planned or imagined. That's just kind of how shit works out for me, I have found, more often than not. Not saying that works out all the time, but more often than not. So that's kind of how I'm treating this year. However, as the new year dawned upon us all, except it's not yet the Chinese New Year, although I think will it be by the time this comes out? That's on January 22nd, I do believe. Year of the water rabbit, which is great because I'm a rabbit. I'm a fire rabbit. Still, rabbit. Ribbit, rabbit, babbit. as the new year dawned, and as I was getting those weird kind of restless leg symptoms in the 4 days before I got real sick, I was so anxious. I was like, oh my God, I'm a waste of space. I'm a leech. I'm no good. I need to get my shit together. I gotta do something. Oh my God. Oh my God. I've been a fool. I have to abandon everything. I can't, do not listen to my gut. It's not good. I need to use my brain. I need to use my intellect, my hard fucking logic. And I need to come up with a specific plan. I gotta put on a fucking tie. I gotta do all this shit. It's not gonna work out. Oh my God. I was like low-key panicking with the new year. I was like, who am I fooling? Who am I fucking fooling? And then it hit. 4 days into the new year, and I get hit with a sickness that knocks me on my ass, racks my brain. So I'm just kind of like another way to describe how my brain was feeling is kind of like that stereotypical old school sci-fi theremin sound. The theremin's a fun instrument that goes, ooh-wee. Just kind of like weird, spaced out theremin kind of a feeling. That boom, it just stopped me in my spin out tracks because I was spinning out. I was, spiraling mentally in anxiety and panic and fear and doubt. I was spiraling, baby. And then the sickness came in and it stopped that. Like it completely uprooted it and was like, now for something completely different. You're going to be, you're going to have to stop. It stopped. It stopped me. So, if nothing else, I try to find the positive in things. One of the things is the coughing really tightened up my waist, baby. Coughing is a great way to get abs. Get those, the deep transverse abdominis. But yeah, it made me stop. So in a way, what I'm trying to say is I'm a little bit grateful for getting COVID, just a little bit, because I feel like it made me stop spinning out, because spinning out would have turned into frantic, panicked action. And that would have led me down the wrong path. It would not have been a good time. It would have been a poor process with poor results, right? And now, fate, disease stepped in and said, no, baby. Cool off. Remember your center. You've got this. And that's kind of how I feel right now. It's, it forced me to, chill the fuck out and then get back to my center and say, no. Here's what your real objective is. And I'll touch on that a bit in the bonus episode because I'm done. I need to give my throat a break. So this is, first free episode of this year. Catch bonus episode, patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. And audio listeners, if you didn't know, this show is on YouTube as well. Everything you've heard, you will hear on the YouTube. However, you will also get to see my beautiful, sickly pale face with disheveled hair or disheveled hair on my YouTube channel. Just go to, I think it's like YouTube. You can just do now like at TTWJ or something, or just go to youtube.com and the search bar type in That Thing with James and my channel will pop up. Subscribe, all that good shit. Okay, I need to take a break and then I'll record the bonus episode. I love you. Happy New Year. Mwah. Until next time. Bye.